Hey, this video is going to be dealing with equations. We're also going to create some tables and graphs, and we're going to look at situations that are written in a story problem so that we can do all three of these things. When we get ready to write an equation, we're going to use a special format, and it's going to say y equals mx plus b. So in my class before, we've written equations, and we always had a number being multiplied, something that's changing a lot, and then we've had one number that was constant, and down below it says now we're going to label that as b. And we said before, in real situations it could be labeled as a fee, it could be an extra charge, or it could be an amount that you start with from the beginning. Then this letter m, we've just put numbers there, a number times x. Now they're going to classify it with the letter m. And down here it says that m is going to represent the amount that's going to change. Some clue words are per, every, and each. So we're going to look for these situations when we see the story problems coming up in the next three examples. The first example we're going to look at says a bicycle rental company charges $18 to rent a bike, plus $7 for every 2 hours that you keep the bicycle. And what we're going to do on this particular example is we're going to fill in a table based off of the information story problem. Then we're going to take this table and we're going to graph to see how the constant change is going to progress over each hour that the person rents the bike. And then finally, we're going to write an equation that could be used to calculate any cost for no matter how many hours you keep the bicycle. So when we look at this, I'm going to identify some important information. They get charged $18, and then it also says that you're going to plus $7 for every 2 hours. $7 for every 2 hours. Now let's take that information and we're going to complete this table. We'll put all that story problem in table format so it's easy to look at. When you see this table, it says 0 hours at the beginning, and we want to know how much it costs for 0 hours. When you think back, it says you're going to get charged $18 just to rent the bike before you even keep it at all for any amount of time. So this first spot in the table needs to be $18. 0 hours, you get charged $18. Then as you read the rest of the problem, it says every 2 hours, you're going to get charged an additional $7. So the table is already counting by twos, so since that's happening, I can really just add 7. So as I go through, I'm going to go down, and I'm going to say plus 7. 18 plus 7 is 25. If I keep going and add 7 the rest of the way down, these are the numbers that you would get. 25 plus 7 is 32. And if I add another 7, that would be 39. And one more group of 7 would get me 46. Now that I know these numbers, how they correspond, I'm going to take this information and I'm going to graph it. I'm going to scoot that over small, make my graph really big. I'm going to go in and put my dots. Okay, 0 hours was $18. I'm going to start right here in the corner where it says 0, and I need to go up to about where I think 18 is. So these lines are counting by 10. This would be 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on. So 18 is going to be really close to 20. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put a dot. That's not good. I need to zoom in closer. I need to put a dot right below 20. Way better. And then 2 hours was $25. So that should be perfectly between 20 and 30. And then 4 hours was $32. I'm going to go a little bit above 30. 6 hours was 39. So barely below 40. And then the last one, 8 hours, is $46. And that would be just a little bit past halfway between 40 and 50. Okay? We're just kind of estimating because these were counting by 10, so it was a little bit hard to get it perfect. But that's, your graph should look something similar to that. And now we're going to take what we have and we're going to make an equation. Scoot those over. The equation is going to say y equals and then here's where I was saying we have to consider how much only 1 hour is worth, because the equation is supposed to represent one at a time. If 2 hours is $7.50, then 1 hour would be half of that, which is $3.50. So that's the number I need to use for my equation. 3.50x. Each and every hour I keep the bike, I'm going to pay $3.50 plus the $18 charge just to rent the bike. Second example, all we're going to do is write the equation, and then we're going to calculate how much the temperature would be after 6 minutes. Alright, starting out says the temperature of a pot of water is 45 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature increases by 20 degrees Fahrenheit per minute when the water is being heated. What would the temperature of the water be after being heated for 6 minutes? If you look at the important information, right now it says the water is 45 degrees. That's our constant starting number. Then it says it's going to increase. Sometimes things decrease, but it's going to increase. And it's going to increase 20 degrees per minute. Equation is going to start with y equals. Then the number that's getting repeated, 20 per minute, 20x. And then the water was already at 45. So I'm going to put plus 45. The last step is it wants to know how, what would the temperature be after 6 minutes of heating. So now what I need to do is just take the increase of 20 and times it with the number of minutes, 6, and then add 45. So it would look like this. 20 times 6 plus 45. 20 times 6 is 120, and that plus 45 more is 165. So after 6 minutes of heating, the water would be 165 degrees Fahrenheit. One last example. This one says a pine tree is planted when it was 24 centimeters tall. It grows at a rate of 3.2 centimeters per week. How tall will the pine tree be in 8 weeks? Again, we're just going to make the equation, and then our final answer would be how tall after 8 weeks did the tree end up growing to be. Important information when you read through. Right now, the tree is 24 centimeters tall. It's going to grow, so that's going to be adding. Oops, let's change colors. Come on, pen. It's going to grow, so that means adding again. Sorry about that. And then it's going to go 3.2 centimeters per week. The amount that's repeating over and over again is 3.2 per week. I'm going to start by saying y equals, then 3.2x, and the quantity that the tree already was 24, so plus 24. Y equals 3.2x plus 24. I want to know how tall it is after 8 weeks. I'm going to do just like I did the last one. I'm going to take this part of the equation, the amount that's repeated, I'm going to times it with how many weeks, and then add the beginning height of the tree from when it was planted. Okay. 3.2 times 8 weeks plus the height of 24. When you multiply those two together, it's going to be 25.6 plus the 24 you started with, and that should end up being 49.6. The tree is now 49.6 centimeters tall.